Good morning. Good morning again, friends. Good morning. Good to see everybody this morning. Good morning again to our friends here at the Hyatt. And welcome now to those joining us live stream. We're glad that you're here. I'm Blake Osner, the Vice Chair of the JASMYN Board and Co-Chair of the Fund Development Committee. We are so pleased to welcome even more folks live to our room now via the stream. And we're so happy. Every year I think, how can it get bigger? How can it get better? And it does every year. So we have more folks in the room this year than we ever have, record-breaking. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. Awesome. And we're very honored that our virtual guests have chosen to spend this hour with us as well. Our goal in putting this event together each year is to make it completely worth your time this morning. And I know it was early getting up, but we're happy that you're here, and we're going to make it fun for you. There are a couple of things we want to make sure that you see. First off, our live guests will see that the JASMYN Coming Out Day breakfast photo frame on your table. Please check the back of your program, and you're looking for a gold star. If you've got the program with the gold star, you get to take the picture frame home with you as a memento this morning. So be sure and get a group picture. Get a group picture. Dan Harris is out in the lobby and can get your pictures, and you can put those right into that picture frame. And everybody at the table gets to take one of the flags that you find there in the centerpiece. So everybody take a flag out this morning as you leave. We want to be sure that you find the QR code that's in the frame that takes you to where the photos are, so that you can pick any photo that you'd like from Dan Harris and put that in the picture frame. Also check out the text to give slips that are at your table. We recommend that you take your phone off the Wi-Fi in this room. And because there's no Wi-Fi in this room. So take that off your phone, use your cellular data, and this will make our final part of the morning a lot more fun and very easy for you. So check out those instructions for text to give. I've already tested it, it works, so just be sure and take it off Wi-Fi. And you can make donations to JASMYN anytime this morning by following the directions there on that slip of paper. The theme for this year's breakfast is Stand with LGBTQA young people. And many of you know why. What a year it's been for them and for all of us, right? With threats to their identities, their family life, their sense of self, and their safety at school. JASMYN is Northwest Florida's only LGBTQ youth center, and we take the responsibility of supporting empowerment of these future leaders very seriously. So when we say stand with LGBTQ+ young people, we mean help them see what a loving community looks like. Help them envision ways to be part of the change they want to see. This is part of our mission, and we cannot do it without all of you. This morning, you will see ways others are standing with our LGBTQ+ young people, and imagine ways that you can also join us. You will understand this morning is not something happening to other people. It is happening to our entire community and requires all of us, family, allies, employers, partners, to stand up with LGBTQ+ young people so they can have a bright future. Now please welcome my fellow board member, the spoken word artist and longtime friend of JASMYN, Taryn Warwood, also known as Love Reigns.
Good morning to all of you beautiful people in this room and online. You heard our theme today, Stand with LGBTQ+ young people. I want to give our virtual friends a little perspective on what that looks like here and give us each something to be proud of today. So when you hear a group mention that you belong to, please stand and keep standing. You see where this is going. 1, if you are an educator, please stand. If you have been to a public meeting or rally with us this year, please stand. If you are the parent, sibling, child, or ally of an LGBTQ+ person, please stand. If you are a donor to JASMYN, please stand. If you are JASMYN staff or board, please stand. If you are a member of your company's Pride Employee Resource Group, please stand. If you have ever served on an event committee or as a volunteer with JASMYN, please stand. If you have ever attended a Pride festival or parade, please stand. If you work at one of our treasured partnered organizations or at a sponsoring company, please stand. See now? This is how we do it. This is how we stand with LGBTQ+ young people. This is community, support, a shoulder, a hand up. This is guidance and grace and goodness. This is teamwork. This, look around. This is love. Thank you for whatever you do to stand with these young people. Thank you. And please take your seat with pride, knowing how much it makes a difference.
Thank you so much, Taryn. Speaking of teamwork, JASMYN is fortunate to have teams of folks who work diligently to put together this morning, and we want to give them a shout out. First, the event planning committee, led by longtime board member Edie Castro, includes Scott Gutterman, Dr. Ross Jones, Liz Nolan, Jerry Orton, Alicia Parasini, Karen Pilgrim, Loretta Prescott, Cindy Watson, and yours truly. Thanks to all of the planning committee. And it takes two committees, really, to make this morning happen, and the second one is the host committee. Our host committee chair for 2022 is the Senior Vice President, Community and Public Engagement at the PGA Tour, Marcia Oliver. Marcia raised the champion's flag for the host committee this year, and they stepped up to meet the challenge, leading the way for so many sponsors in this room with record-breaking fundraising for JASMYN. Woohoo! Yay! Host committee. Marcia has been involved with JASMYN for many years and cemented this commitment to our mission by bringing the players in as a rainbow sponsor. Please welcome to the indomitable Marcia Oliver.
Good morning. Thank you, Blake, for that. I am delighted to welcome you to JASMYN's 16th annual Coming Out Day Breakfast, where I have the privilege of serving as host committee chair. I've long attended this early morning event and am honored to join our committee members in generating support for the critical services that JASMYN provides the Jacksonville community. Our team includes Abel Harding, Joshua Lusk, Catherine Hardwick, Brent Chenard, Dana Krisnar, and Nancy Chartrand. Well done, team. Thank you all. I am as equally proud of the leadership and generosity of the PGA Tour and the Players' Championship and our continued support of JASMYN, where this year we are a rainbow sponsor. Thank you, colleagues, for being here and your contributions that have led to the tour's score of 95 on the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, and we're going to get to 100. You better believe it. In my role at the PGA Tour, I spend my days helping our organization serve, support, and improve the communities where we play. We consistently strive to build a culture and present world-class sporting events that deliver significant charitable and economic benefits to the communities around the globe. In recent years, we have sought to increase our focus, commitment, and practices to ensure that we are more informed, inclusive, and impactful with our stewardship. It is quite odd that a longtime public servant, that's a fancy word for government employee, African-American female, and a really, really bad golfer would be tapped to support the world's premier golf league in its efforts to better diversify our sport, especially when a great deal of my career's early success was based on my ability to navigate spaces and places where I could avoid, adapt, and assimilate. I can't exactly hide in professional golf. My journey over these past 3 years at the PGA Tour has been a real gift. But my greatest gift and inspiration for this journey and every single step that I take came decades ago with the birth of Joel, my 24-year-old gay son who is currently on tour in Canada. How could someone who I dedicated my life to raising, chasing around frantically to ensure he had the proper role models and resources that would build good character, good habits, good choices, and good citizenship become my role model? He never quite mastered those study habits like I pushed, however. But he's a remarkable, compassionate human being who flosses his teeth daily and makes his bed every morning. This is a person who would teach me about courage. How? It is because of a strong network of support and offerings that were available to him. The educators at Duval County Public Schools, particularly those at Douglas Anderson School of the Arts, that embraced him. The fine arts community that inspired his post-secondary education and career choice, and even his doctor's office, the Carithers Pediatric Group, who long cared for him. So long that Dr. Sanchez's former colleague, Dr. Julie Baker, would say, "Marcia, Joel has a beard now, and he drives himself to the office. It's time." There are countless others. These village people, I call them, all of whom were a part of his journey, even before his own family, stood and walked with him. I am deeply grateful. To those who kept and built his confidence, I wish to express the same gratitude to my village, especially Nancy Chartrand, Dana Krisnar, Tina Worth, Carrie King, the PGA Tour, and most importantly, JASMYN, who taught me that children must feel an unconditional invitation to exist in our presence exactly as they are, and an invitation to become fully who they are. No adapting, no avoiding, no assimilating. All of you in this room and those in our virtual platform are a part of the JASMYN Village, those who are helping to improve and transform lives of Jacksonville youth and their families. Thank you for standing up for the youth in the communities who need us most. Enjoy the program.
Thank you so much, Marcia. It's an extraordinary year for the breakfast, thanks to you. Take a look at all of the sponsors up on the screen. We are thankful for your incredible support of our young people, and we could not be here today without one of our earliest and most diligent supporters, the Dolores Bar Weaver Forever Fund, which underwrites this breakfast annually. Let me welcome any elected officials we have with us today. I know that the state senator-elect Tracy Davis is here. Welcome, Tracy. Our state representative, Angie Nixon. Welcome. Others, we're thankful that you're here if you're here. Thank you. Maybe you're online. We're happy that you're with us. Thank you for showing up and standing with LGBTQ plus young people today. This spring, as the political climate in Tallahassee became more like, a storm for LGBT young people, JASMYN began to receive gifts through celebrities around the country from their followers who responded to their pleas for help in Florida and for other states to help LGBTQ plus young people where they were being targeted by legislation. The most prominent and significant total gift came from an online crowdfunding initiative by pop star Ariana Grande. These dollars are currently supporting JASMYN in program expansion for our middle and high school students. Here is our thanks to Ariana Grande.
morning. It's so great to see all of you beautiful people here this morning. I'm Cindy Watson. I'm the CEO of JASMYN, and it's really an honor to be here and to celebrate the 16th Coming Out Day breakfast for JASMYN. So thank you for being here. I'm grateful for every single person in this room. I see so many old friends and a lot of new ones as well. And also for folks in the virtual audience. We're really happy that you have found a way to come together, to come out and to stand for and with our LGBTQ young people. And I especially want to acknowledge the folks who are on the front lines of the work we're doing in Jacksonville. That's our board of directors, both the JASMYN board and the JASMYN Properties board, and also our fabulous staff of 29 people and another 8 interns. You saw them standing earlier, and that is symbolic of their commitment to our young people. Now, it's not hyperbole to say that this has been one of the most challenging years for our LGBTQ young people, and especially the youngest of our population, teens, middle and high school students. You know, our students left school in May with teachers they could trust and identify with clear policies and support in place, including safe space stickers around their schools to help guide them. When they returned this fall, much of that had disappeared, and they are now unable to tell an educator their preferred name or pronoun without that person being mandated to report it to their parents. All of this comes from a new Florida law that went into effect on July 1st called House Bill 1557, also referred to as Don't Say Gay. The effects are widespread. Mental health concerns among LGBTQ students have escalated. Fear has replaced trust in schools. Teachers, principals, and school districts have been left to decipher the vague and menacing law and creating confusion and fear-based action that rather than the caring environment for students that was there in its place before this law went into effect. Now, JASMYN has a 28-year history of listening to and standing with LGBTQ young people. And our work to promote and now to protect safe schools has been foundational to our vision and our mission. As we continue to rise up against these culture wars that put our transgender and other queer youth in their sights, we continue to fight for safety, for respect, for care, and for affirmation of LGBTQ young people. And we ask you to stand with us. So today we stand with LGBTQ young people as we move forward in this journey. Our theme today is very intentional, and to really stand, we must center and listen to the voices of our young people, of students, and also their supportive teachers who are on the front lines in local schools. So we're going to bring some of those voices to you this morning in this program. You're going to hear them throughout the morning, and this is your first taste of that. Thank you.
The problem with this new Florida law is that teachers are put in the position to choose between compassion and their job. If a student is in the classroom who is trans, gay, bi, lesbian, before a teacher can let that student know that they're not alone by reading a book that maybe involves a character that is like them or sharing an anecdote that would make that student feel better, the teacher now has to decide if it's worth having a parent complain and then possibly losing their job. What an awful position to put students and teachers in.
Given the Don't Say Gay bill, the advice I'd want to provide to K-12 students on how to keep safe at school is to be aware. Educate yourself on the Don't Say Gay bill and how schools can choose to implement it. Be cautious. Many schools are still an unwelcoming environment. If coming out or discussing your authentic self puts you or someone else in danger, I strongly suggest against it. Now remember, your life is valued more than anything else. It is the most precious treasure of all.
That's pretty powerful stuff. Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura Finn from Macquarie Group, and I'm so excited to be here with you all again. I lead Macquarie Pride in our Jacksonville office, and I'm proud to say I work somewhere that's committed to an inclusive workplace where people feel safe to bring their whole selves to work. And I'm so proud that we've been sponsoring JASMYN's Coming Out Day breakfast for 6 years running, especially given we've only been in Jacksonville for 7. For those who haven't worked it out, I'm Australian. This is also, not so coincidentally, where Macquarie's headquartered. We've been a JASMYN Rainbow sponsor since 2019, and this level of support allows us to attend both Strides for Pride and the Coming Out Day breakfast, while giving us a chance to support other programs year-round. It gives us a way to say to those who come to JASMYN what that young person just talked about, that their life is valued. Having been JASMYN's first Rainbow sponsor, we are really pleased to see the number of sponsors at this level grow, because we know how direct the impact of it is for the youth. This is how Macquarie stands with LGBTQ+ young people, and we are grateful for all those who stand with us this year. Congratulations to our entire cohort of major sponsors. They were all honoured at last night's reception, as you can see on the screen. The Rainbow sponsors are the Chartrand family, the Players, Five Star Credit Union and Macquarie Group, and the Diversity Leader sponsors are 121 Financial Credit Union, Baptist Health, Black Knight, Brightway Insurance, Brooks Rehabilitation, Cause Inspired Media, Deutsche Bank, Fanatics, First Horizon Foundation, Sight and Sound, and Wells Fargo. Well done, and thank you all.
The best way that parents can support their LGBTQ kids now more than ever is just open communication. The kids need the safety and the feeling of being loved from their parents at home. And now that they're not going to get it in an environment at school where they might have had that acceptance, it's really incredibly important that those parents show their kids how much they are accepted and loved.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Christina Guriba. I'm an engagement and linkage coordinator at JASMYN and also the founder of Transcending Adolescence, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering LGBTQ+ youth through mental health-focused programming, outdoor recreation, summer camps, and retreats. I was struck by the teacher's voice in that video speaking about the importance of parental support for LGBTQ+ students. It's so true that a loving and supportive family is key for queer youth to successfully navigate adolescence and beyond. We know through our work with young people that it also takes a caring and responsive professionals and healthcare providers who stand with them. This year, we are honoring one of those individuals with JASMYN's Emerald Award. For his extraordinary volunteer service, Dr. Raul Sanchez. Dr. Sanchez received his award last evening as well, as you can see, for his unfailing ability to be there for young trans folks. Dr. Sanchez, a leading doctor at Caruthers Pediatric Group, who has dedicated his passion and focus to developing and providing medical care to support LGBTQ+ youth, especially services for transgender and gender nonconforming young people. Dr. Sanchez has become the primary go-to doctor for adolescents in Northeast Florida, creating relationships with gender-affirming therapists as resources for his patients. His extraordinary leadership, advocacy, and developed expertise is life-affirming and also life-saving for many young people in Northeast Florida. Dr. Sanchez, would you please stand so that we can appreciate you? Congratulations for receiving the Emerald Award for 2022.
As As a middle school chorus and drama teacher, the recent Florida laws attacking teachers and bullying gay, trans, and non-binary students have left me puzzled. For the last few years, it was my 13 and 14-year-old students who were asking me to refer to them by a different name or gender than what is in the school's official records. These once marginalized students felt safe in my room to ask, no, demand, to be seen and respected. Since the new laws were enacted, I have had some students get parent permission to have their names or gender identity changed. Unfortunately, there are some who have confided in me that they would have liked to have me accommodate them, but understand that I no longer can without their parents' knowledge.
Good morning, I'm Bruce Musser, and I'm the board chair for JASMYN. And I was so captivated by that video, I lost track of time. And I have to say, what an important message that is. Students need to feel safe, and we in this room can affect that. Thanks to the educators who bravely spoke up so that we could hear them today. This morning, I have the privilege of presenting the 2022 Diamond Award, JASMYN's highest honor for exemplary service to the organization and the community. This year, we're thrilled to recognize Brian Wolfberg, CEO of ViStar Credit Union. In the 5 years since Brian and his husband, Jake Wolfberg, first visited Jacksonville, he has distinguished himself as an outstanding leader in many ways. Many know him as an energetic and visionary business leader in Jacksonville, highly engaged in downtown development, a supporter of the Emerald Trail and Lift Jacksonville, and as a major donor to multiple innovative nonprofit organizations. Brian has demonstrated again and again his passion and focus for improving the lives of marginalized people all across the city, including young people, and presenting them with a role model for success. From the first time he visited JASMYN, he asked, "How can I help?" And then he offered several ideas from his professional business experience. Brian first supported our campus expansion during the J3 building renovations in 2018. And in 2020, he and his husband, Jake, co-chaired the Safe Place Capital campaign to complete the renovations of JASMYN's buildings and the campus grounds. His work to make Jacksonville more inclusive is inspirational and brings people together around his vision for a robust city. It is with enormous thanks and great admiration that we honor him today with JASMYN's Diamond Award. Brian Wolfberg.
Good morning, and thank you for the tremendous recognition of the Diamond Award and for all it stands for. I'm excited to be here today for the 16th annual Coming Out Day breakfast and humbled to receive this award, especially in the midst of so many who have done so much for our LGBTQ+ community here in Jacksonville, both in the room and past recipients of the award. Before I begin, I want to recognize my husband of 12 years and the love of my life, Jake Wolfberg, who is here with me today, but Jake is also an active member of the board of directors for JASMYN, and as you heard a moment ago, my co-chair on last year's Safe Places campaign to help expand and enhance the JASMYN campus. This is in addition to so many other amazing things he has done, both in politics and with other nonprofit and cultural organizations here in Jacksonville. He works with Jacksonville Arts and Music School. He is on the Community Foundation's LGBTQ Fund and works with me on our Jacksonville Public Education Fund, Wolfberg Fellowship for Social Justice, and I appreciate everything he does for me and with me. He makes it easy to want to be a better person, and he pushes me forward at all times. I also want to recognize our son Asher, who unfortunately wasn't able to be here today, and is the joy of our lives for the past 6 years. I am certain, though, when I get home today, I'm probably in trouble when he learns that the Diamond Award is not real diamonds. As he would tell you, diamonds are not just a girl's best friend. It's because of both of them and with them that I do what I do for our community. I would be remiss if I didn't thank those in attendance from ViStar, my place of employment, and the support network that allows me to do what I can for the community. It's truly amazing to work at an organization and with such great people that are focused on doing good and leading by example each and every day. As you heard, my family and I have only lived in Jacksonville for 5 years. In fact, yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of me driving for 8 days with my father-in-law across the country from Alaska to Jacksonville. And while we've always volunteered and given back wherever we've lived, I'm overjoyed to be recognized for this here today and for our efforts in Jacksonville. While an amazing city with so much to offer, there is still work to do, and we are proud to play just a small part in that. Ever since moving to Jacksonville, we have been engaged and active in support of JASMYN, as well as many other nonprofits and cultural organizations. Through this work, we have developed a deep respect for JASMYN, and I will cherish the Diamond Award as one of my most valued recognitions of my career. To be recognized by a legend like Cindy Watson, who has given so much of herself to bring JASMYN to where it is today, along with the board of JASMYN and all of the staff who give of themselves each and every day and do the true hard work in the trenches to support our youth, means a lot to me and is very special. Our community is much better and more welcoming because of the presence of JASMYN, and our youth have a place where they feel safe and supported. And for that, I thank each and every one of you who works every day with and at JASMYN. Like Cindy and JASMYN, we are working hard to be role models for our family, for our employees, and for our community. I am encouraged every day that I am provided an opportunity to do this. And while I know that we don't always succeed, it remains important that we continue to educate others, that we push for understanding and acceptance, that we demand change, and unfortunately, right now, that we do not go backwards. We must do it for ourselves, for our families, for our community, and most importantly, for the youth in our lives. Thank you.
HB 1557 uses terms like age appropriate for materials and discussions. The vagueness of that language makes it risky for any adult figure to discuss issues that might lessen the marginalization that LGBTQ+ students encounter. By ignoring the conversation, we only make those students feel less than normal, thus increasing the real possibility of bullying and risks for depression, violence, and thoughts and acts of suicide.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's really good to see you all here. I'm Patty McElroy, and I get to work with Brian Wolfberg as Senior Vice President at ViStar Credit Union and as the President of the new ViStar Foundation. What an absolute joy it is to be here this morning to both celebrate my boss as the Diamond Award winner and to introduce one of our speakers, Sam Ames, who is joining us by video. He is the Director of Advocacy and Government Affairs at the Trevor Project, the world's largest suicide prevention and mental health organization for LGBTQ young people. The Trevor Project is best known for two things: providing life-saving suicide hotlines, chat lines, and resources for LGBTQ+ young people around the world, using a broad network of regional volunteers that possibly includes people in this audience. And talking with and surveying LGBTQ+ young people to understand their mental health and well-being. This enables us to stand with them in their struggles as better adult supporters. Sam is the Director of Advocacy and Government Affairs at the Trevor Project, a civil rights attorney and national advocate for transgender youth and against conversion therapy. Please join me in welcoming Sam Ames to the Coming Out Day breakfast.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here with you today and grateful to be here with you today in this room full of probably some of the most tireless advocates and allies in the country right now. My name is Sam Ames. I use he and they pronouns, and I am the Director of Advocacy and Government Affairs at the Trevor Project, the world's largest suicide prevention organization for young LGBTQ people. And I really wish I could be there with you in person today. I am so grateful that I am getting to join in virtually, and first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to every single one of you who has shown up for LGBTQ youth this year and who is showing up today. I think we have to start by taking a minute to acknowledge that we are here to honor National Coming Out Day at a time when Florida's political climate is making it especially difficult for young people to come out, to feel safe and supported as they navigate one of the most important decisions in their young lives. I think this is probably the last room I have to tell what a challenging year it has been for them, for trans youth in particular, not just across Florida, but across the entire United States. Just this year in 2022 alone, we've seen over 300 anti-LGBTQ bills introduced in states all over the country. The majority of those bills target trans youth, and as we know, they are listening. LGBTQ youth are listening. They are watching as these misguided, actually quite politically unpopular policies continue to get far too much airtime, continue to send them the message that the majority of their neighbors are against them, when that is not true. But that message is taking a toll on their mental health. Young people from all over the country, including Florida, are contacting Trevor's Crisis Services to express concern, anxiety, and fear around these bills. Some of our recent polling found that 85% of trans and non-binary youth and nearly 2/3 of all LGBTQ youth say that they are watching these debates over their identity, and that just the debates have already negatively impacted their mental health, regardless of what passes into law. All this is happening to a group of young people that we know already faces significant mental health disparities. The Trevor Project's 2022 National Survey on LGBTQ youth mental health found that 45% of LGBTQ youth seriously considered suicide in the past year. Nearly 1 in 5 trans and non-binary youth made an attempt on their life in the past year. You can't separate those statistics from the rhetoric being pushed in the political sphere right now. These lawmakers are using young people solely in hopes of making them a wedge issue. There is a small group of people who has determined that in their rise to power, there is an acceptable risk of casualties, of young casualties. And what for them is politics, for LGBTQ youth is existence. Their hypothetical fears are causing real, predictable harm. Florida has made headlines for what many have dubbed the Don't Say Gay, Don't Say Trans bill. this horrific attempt to silence conversations of LGBTQ people in schools across the state. I'm not actually going to give any more attention to that legislation. I think we've talked about it enough. What I want to take a moment to focus on is what happens when we do say gay, when we do say trans, when we say bisexual, when we say intersex. What happens when we acknowledge and affirm and celebrate the full and beautiful spectrum of human beings. Supportive schools save lives, period. Our research at the Trevor Project has found what the overwhelming amount of research has found, that LGBTQ youth who report that their school is affirming of their identity have significantly lower odds of attempting suicide. We found that LGBTQ youth who learned about LGBTQ people and topics at school had 23% lower odds of reporting a suicide attempt in the last year. This isn't about words. It never has been. It's about acknowledging and affirming and celebrating every student for who they are, making sure every student knows that they belong. That shouldn't be controversial. That should be standard practice in every school, everywhere, for all youth, LGBTQ or not. That's not the world we live in yet. Right now, young people need the support of people like you in ways no kid ever should. We estimated that more than 1.8 million LGBTQ youth in this country consider suicide each year. You do the math and that comes out to about every 45 seconds, a young person makes a suicide attempt. Last year, crisis workers at the Trevor Project answered over 260,000 calls and texts. Those are really hard numbers. And I will admit they do not make for the best breakfast table conversation, but I think that there's hope in them. There's not just 260,000 young people in crisis. That is 260,000 young people who, in some of the hardest moments of their lives, found the strength to reach out. Remembered somewhere in their bones that they are part of something, that they are part of a legacy of resilience and resistance and community, and that by definition means they are not alone. Yes, we are living through a public health crisis of LGBTQ youth suicide, but that crisis is preventable. It is endable. I work on our advocacy team where we deal in policies that talk in the thousands and the millions of young people. It can sometimes be easy to forget the impact of one. But data shows that LGBTQ young people who say they have just one accepting adult in their life are 40% less likely to report a suicide attempt in the past year. 40%, that is huge. That is a huge number next to a very small number. 40% next to 1. So as you head into the rest of your morning, your day, your week, your year, I want you to continue pushing yourself to be that one accepting adult in a young person's life. And I know that by showing up today, you are. That you are already showing up for young people across the state, 2/3 of whom say they are watching you when you do. You know, you don't have to understand everything about someone to support them. What a great lesson. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know all the right things to say. The only words you need are "I love you." And by showing up today, you are living out that love. So thank you.
If if I were to give advice to the young queer students of today, I would think back to my time in my deeply conservative Christian high school. At this school, they were more than happy to say gay. We hate the gays, they said instead, their words disguised by their corrupted version of the love of Christ. So the advice I give you today is what I learned back in that school. Find your people. Find the people you can trust and embrace their love. Their love will overpower hate. Second, don't give up. You are the future of our community, and your dedication to love will keep the spirit of freedom alive for generations to come.
Good morning, everyone. Come on, I know y'all can do better than that. Good morning, everyone. All right, now that's good. That's better. So I'm a JASMYN board member and also a JASMYN alumnus. And you know, hearing the voices of everyone and all the queer young people speak out saying, find your people really resonates with me. Because that is what JASMYN is about. It's about affirming and providing safe spaces for us to find our people. And from Sam Ames at the Trevor Project, we heard the pain and challenges that many of us face as we experience rejection or are targeted in these culture wars of today. This is why we must stand with LGBTQIA+ young people. Now, we have a special guest today, our keynote speaker, who is an inspiration to me. He's a native of Jacksonville, a nurse, a professor, nationally recognized public health advocate, speaker, and a trainer. Philadelphia is definitely lucky to have him as their HIV prevention program manager at the Philadelphia Department of Health. He has done so much more, but what impresses me most about this individual is he began his career as a community-oriented health advocate, translating insights from research into practical solutions for some of our most significant health challenges, like HIV, which impacts Black, gay, and bisexual men disproportionately. This is exactly the space where JASMYN's HIV programs for young people have been growing, and this individual understands better than most people how to stand with LGBTQIA+ young people in doing the work to fight HIV, its stigma, and barriers that can hold young people back. Now, I want y'all to stand up and give a round of applause to the amazing, resilient, incredible Javante Williams.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for your warm welcome. Marcellus, you did perfect. You brought the energy. I told him, I said, now how you go up there and introduce me is what the audience I'm gonna inherit. And I noticed everybody came up here and y'all were like, nice shoes, very nice shoes. Ferragamo, okay, nice. And they came up to a silent stage, and so I didn't want to do that. But thank you so much for your warm welcome. I want to tell you, you've already gotten the keynote. Brian, what an amazing speech. That was so moving. I leaned over to Cindy, I was like, that's the speech. So what I want to do is have a conversation, but before I do, I want to acknowledge the planning committee, the host committee, and I also want to acknowledge two very special people from my JASMYN time, Cindy Watson and Emily. Thank you so much. Can we give them a big round of applause? Okay, so that might work for some of the politicians in the room, but we're talking about champions for young people. Can we give them a big round of applause? He got the idea. Thank you so much. Thank you for indulging me. You know, Cindy Watson knows how to host folk. When we were going back and forth in email, she made sure I had all the details. She was like, and this is the time for this, and 6:30 sound check, see you at 6:30. And she made sure I knew exactly where to be and what to do, and I am so grateful for that, because as a person who speaks a lot, I find myself in not so pleasant moments, like the time I went to a conference in the Mississippi Delta. Anybody from Mississippi? No? Okay, it's a wonderful place on the earth. But they dropped me at a place called the Cotton House Hotel. Great hotel, but I don't know who thought it was a good idea to drop the black man off at the Cotton House Boutique Hotel. So I am grateful to Cindy's hospitality and putting me not at the Cotton House. You know, my time at JASMYN, let me start my timer because I want to be invited back. So I have a very small amount of time to talk to you. And really, I want to have a conversation because something central to JASMYN's mission, the reason for JASMYN is to serve the young folks, right? The folks who identify as LGBTQIA, all the alphabet, but even the folks who are still figuring it out, right? And one of the best ways to engage anybody, really, but particularly young people, is through story. And so I don't want to speak to you. I want to tell you a little bit of my story. And like most stories, I'm going to start with once upon a time. And so once upon a time, there was a little black boy who lived on the south side of Jacksonville, grew up in a Navy family, who in the 5th grade learned a very big word that he had heard before but never felt. It's called divorce. You see, my stepfather walked into my mother's room around midnight one humid Jacksonville summer evening and asked her for a divorce. Just wasn't working. And my mother, being a fragile, in-health person already, having her own struggles with depression and anxiety, now faced with the prospect of raising 2 young boys by herself, didn't really know how to cope. And so, as the days and weeks progressed, I would come home from school finding my mother on the couch, not fully out of bed, not fully asleep or at rest. And when she couldn't sleep, there would be sedatives and narcotics. She was a Christian woman, so she didn't do the alcohol. But there would always be something to numb the pain. Well, the divorce didn't happen then. It took some time for them to figure it out, while they dragged me and my brother through uncertainty and insecurity. So while they were figuring it out, a few years later, my stepfather, Navy guy, working in the nuclear program, was at work and started to become distracted by the internal dialogue happening all the time, more incessantly. Went to the doctor, and they said, "What you're experiencing, we want to study a little bit more." And so they decided to suggest an inpatient stay for him. And 30 days later, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And so, figuring out a divorce, being diagnosed with schizophrenia, my mother struggling with depression, my family went from one chaos to the next. Any military folks in here? Any Navy folks? So, any Club DD-214s? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you know anything about the discharge paperwork or any armed forces process, it's very procedural. It takes deliberate and administrative intention. Well, my father, who completed his 30 days inpatient, was expedited for military discharge. And in a very short time, he was out, with no benefits started to catch him. And so as things tend to progress, the bills started to mount. And as things happen when you don't pay them, stuff started to get cut off. We were evicted from our home in Clay County. We were homeless. And I saw a table from the I Am Sulzbacher Center. Where are my Sulzbacher people? Thank you for the work you do. Because my family ended up at the Sulzbacher Center for the Homeless. And so there I am, mid-adolescence, responsible for 2 adults, thrust into taking care of a full family as one of the functional members of this family, We went from homeless center to hotel, from hotel to motel, until the quality just got even worse. And so one day in the hotel, I was watching television, and PBS had a documentary on Harvard medical students. And I said, I'm gonna go to Harvard Medical School. Homeless kid, gonna go to Harvard Medical School. Because what didn't get changed in the inside was my ability to dream, even through all the chaos. Well, you probably read my bio. I did not go to Harvard Medical School, but I did resolve for a career in healthcare because I wanted to take care of people in a way that I never felt taken care of as a young person. So on my journey to go to Harvard, I started at FCCJ, now Florida State College, and I met my first best friend. I met my first girl crush. Her name was Jordan. Some of you in the room know Jordan. Jordan and I became ace boon. We were always together. She had this cool texture of hair that she loved to obsess about and twist. Emily, you know how Jordan is about her hair. She was just so cool. And we were sitting in the radio station at FCCJ South Campus. It's always gonna be FCCJ to me. And Jordan said, you know, Javante, I'm bisexual. And I was like, why is she telling me this? And I was like, good, I have a crush on you. Still hiding from myself. And what she would later tell me is that she told me that so I would come out to her. But then Jordan disappeared. And it was weeks, a couple months, and I'm like, what happened? Did I do something to you? She's like, no, I just been really busy. But Jordan had found JASMYN, and she started volunteering and going to drop-in and ditching me. And so I was like, well, I want to come to JASMYN. She was like, well, it's for, you know, queer folk. I was like, no, I want to come to JASMYN. And so I walked into JASMYN for drop-in, and I remember meeting Dan Merkin for the first time. This tall, goofy guy, kind of nerdy, kind of cute. And I was like, this is my people. And if you want to know what it felt like the first time to go into JASMYN, I want you to just take a deep breath. No, you did it wrong. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. And on my count, I want you to breathe in, all right? Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Now breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open your eyes. Does anyone feel lighter? That's what I felt entering the JASMYN Drop-In Center. It felt like JASMYN was breathing me in and sucking all of my hopes and inspiration and aspirations as a young person into the house and then putting it back into me in this neat arranged package that would allow me to go on for another day. And so I came back to the drop-in center again and again and again until I ended up volunteering. And then I ended up as a young person on staff. And my biggest fear at the time was, oh my God, what happens when I age out? I'm gonna have to take a year off because JASMYN makes you go away at 23 and a half, and then you come back at 25 and get to volunteer and, you know, apply for a job. What happens to me? What happens in my community? My time at JASMYN has impacted my life in ways that I cannot even imagine. Because at every decision point, there was always a Cindy Watson's voice in the back of my mind when I would say, we need some more manpower. She's like, no, Javante, we need people power. Or I would say things like, well, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And she was like, or we could bake 2 buns in 1 oven. It was always these small little nudges until one day I was having a conversation with a former supervisor of mine, Mindy Middleton. And she said, Javante, I've noticed something about you. The energy for your work comes from your ability to be creative. I was not hired to do a creative job, so it was technically a reprimand. But she said, when you have the ability to dream, you have so much energy for work. That has stayed with me. And today, if you go to phillykeeponloving.com, we built a teleprep program in the city of Philadelphia that allows people to get access to HIV prevention medications in just 7 days without ever leaving their house. That is a dream come true. That's the type of work that JASMYN showed me was possible. And so I'm still being creative. I'm still creating new possibilities in all the rooms that I've been invited to attend. And when we confirmed my participation in this breakfast, Cindy told me the theme, and she said, it's Stand with LGBTQI young people. And in her very Cindy way, she was excited. And I was like, wow. And on the inside, I was like, that's really generic. Stand with young people, okay. Kind of sounds like fight with us. Not really a directive, just kind of an invitation. But it was short-sighted on my part. Because in its simplicity is the challenge. The easiest things to do are often the hardest. Whether it's a walk across a bridge in Selma, or to the Capitol in DC, where folks just decided we've had enough of Jim Crow. Whether it's just to sit down, but in the front of the bus, or at a lunch counter in downtown Jacksonville on what would become Axe Handle Summer. Or whether it's to stand in a courthouse or a registration center and kiss your partner on Valentine's Day for the 3rd year you've been denied a license. Sometimes the simplest things are indeed the hardest to do. And so the call for us to stand with young people in its simplicity is really an activation. It's a call to arms. And so whether you're sitting in this room as an ally or a member of the community, you are now activated to change the communities that you go back to. The time for polite dinners and luncheons and breakfasts are over, because we have been once again called to the conversation, to change the conversation. And I know that some of you are exhausted. You're like, how many conversations do we have to have? Particularly if you're a Black trans woman. Particularly the more marginalized your identities. How many conversations and fights do I have to take up? It's not my battle. I'm only one person. I'm only one voice. But you are indeed one voice. And when you join your voice with all of the voices that are just one, we make a chorus. And it is impossible to drown out the song that we are singing. And so today, the call is to stand with young people. But not just in our words, not just in breakfast attendance, but with your time and your treasure. Now, I know many of you did not pay to be here. I know. Your company bought your table and invited the gay ones to the breakfast. But the joke's on them, because this is turning into a rally. And we're getting activated. The call has gone out. Cindy and the JASMYN team has issued the call. What is the call, you say? Before you leave, there's an envelope in front of you. Because you didn't pay to be here, I want you to put something in it. I want you to text JASMYN. I want you to set up a reminder with the number in the bulletin in front of you, And on the same day each month, I want you to send Jasmine $100. And you say, oh, I'm broke, Javante. I did not pay to be here, and there's a reason for that. Then I want you to give your time. It's election season. I want you to show up at the polls. I want you to show up at the school board meetings. This is how we stand with young people. Because the most important thing is that we don't start to repeat statistics like 1 out of 2 black men will become HIV positive in their lifetime if current trends persist. Or that 50% of long-term mental illness starts at the age of 14. Or that the leading cause of death for young people 9 to 24 is suicide. No more. Enough. Today, we activate ourselves to do more than repeat a theme, to do more than just have polite breakfast. We activate ourselves to indeed stand with young people. We activate ourselves to stand with JASMYN. Thank you for your time.
What an amazing story. Thank you so much, Javante. Wow. For all of your work with HIV and for the inspiring address this morning. We're so proud to call you a JASMYN alumni. Sometimes the person who knows best how to stand with you is the person who has been you. It's very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to cry, so to stop me from doing that, now it is our time to stand up. So now it's your turn to stand up with LGBTQ young people by using your phone, got mine right here, and show this room and the young people at JASMYN that are watching that you see them and that they are watching you and you're ready to stand with them. Acknowledge their challenges, so much like your own, but magnified because of the laws impacting their well-being right now, and that you are here with them to move beyond this environment to a more inclusive and accepting place for all of Florida. It's time for our text to give, and you guys have already been activating. We are starting at 2,600 something plus. It's going to come up in the screen in a moment. But this is your opportunity. Thank you, Javante, for mentioning the envelopes on your table. If you want to go old school with cash, that's awesome, or a check, but you can text to give really easily. Be sure and turn your Wi-Fi off because it won't work in this room. Use your cellular data and go to text for give. Where are we at right now, Loretta? I know the last count I got, we were over 2,600. Our goal for this morning is 15,000 this year. So whatever you can do to get us there is much appreciated. We have the power in this room to get this done. Again, if you are here at the hotel, we advise that you take it off the Wi-Fi. I already mentioned that. JASMYN is a state-certified HIV counseling and testing site. And JASMYN completed 475 HIV tests with young people, contributing to a viral suppression rate of 76% in 2022. JASMYN staff linked 100% of our HIV plus clients to medical care last year, providing linkage, retention, and medication adherence support for 63 young people. Here we go, now it's up and running. There we go. Y'all can see the information. Thank you to those names. Thank you, Laura, Joseph, Jeff, fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for giving. We've got a total, I can't see that. Thank you. 3981. The angle is bad and I'm too vain to wear my glasses up here. So please, if you can, whatever you can do to give to the text to give, we really appreciate it. Any amount is fantastic. $5, $2, $1,000, 20,000. You know, we're not going to turn any of that away. It's really great stuff. All of these funds help us stand up every day with the young people and help the staff at JASMYN and all the volunteers to do the incredible work. JASMYN provided outreach, connection to food, showers, the cyber center, and temporary financial assistance to a total of 261 young people experiencing homelessness or unstably housed in 2021. thank you. I got it on the screen. And 74 youth received intensive housing care coordination support and linkages to stable housing from our housing team. We are very proud of these numbers and look to increase them each year, especially with the cost of housing increasing in Florida. Fantastic. Thank you, Kelly. Love it. Anonymous gifts. Those are the 100 million ones. I love it. That's fantastic. So up to 4816. Keep that going. We want to blow the top off that. Then we are going to dance. We're going to boogie our way out of here. Don't make me start taking off my clothes up here, people. Well, we'll take your ones also. So don't be afraid of that. Thank you, Lisa, Vicky, yay, Gabriella. Keep it coming. Ann, thank you, Joel. Fantastic. Few other things I want you to know about JASMYN. You can support the housing work at JASMYN. Did that already? JASMYN had 2,376 program and service contacts with youth ages 13 to 19 on and off campus, including online programs, on-campus offerings, and contacts through GSAs in Duval County. I know all of your businesses had to pivot. Probably most of you had to pivot in some way with COVID. That affected JASMYN in the same way that it affected all of our companies. So they have done an amazing job, the staff, of meeting the young people where they are, including virtually. And again, you folks that are joining us virtually, please use your cell phone and text to JASMYN. The number is 844-889-1562. So if you're joining virtually and you can't see the number and instructions on this screen, just text the name JASMYN to 844-889-1562. It got really quiet because everybody's texting. There are people helping you around. If anybody's having trouble with the Wi-Fi or getting through, raise your hand because our volunteers will come around and help you. Younger folks than me. So we've got a couple of folks up here maybe having some trouble with their phones. So if my volunteers could come help these folks, that would be fantastic. We're moving close to our goal, which is great. Look at that. Keep rising up there. It's awesome. And as Javante said, this is the call to action, y'all. It's great to have breakfast. It's wonderful to hear everybody speak. It's fantastic to visit with folks you haven't seen in a while, but this is really the call to action for you today. Help us stand with the young people and continue to grow JASMYN and all the services that JASMYN staff are providing. Our new JX edition will provide 2 more clinic rooms for testing at JASMYN, and we're looking at that being completed by early 2023. If you haven't gone around to the JASMYN campus lately, drive by next time you're down in Riverside, take a drive by and see the construction work going on. It's really amazing. This means that more young people can be seen in our daily testing and for our weekly sexual health clinic. Great stuff. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate that. Ophelia, and Vicky, thank y'all very much. Thank you, Amanda. Keep those funds coming in. We're at 47%. 47. We can do it. We can make it. I know we can. 47. It's exciting. Did you get some help? Did somebody come help you? Oh. If there are any volunteers out there that could help with the phone, up here at the front, it would be helpful. Folks. Oh, we're hitting 50%. There we go. 50%. We got 50 more to get. There's a lovely volunteer for you. Thank you. All right, folks. Come on. Keep it going. It's raising. It's raising. Okay. If you text and don't get an immediate reply, there's just a little delay because there's so many of us doing it. So just hold on and you'll get a reply saying it gave. So it's just running a little behind, but keep it coming, folks. Wasn't it great to hear the student voices and the teachers speak about what their experience is happening this year during the school year. I'm so impressed with the teachers that stood forward and shared their story. Thank you, Crystal. Laura, Emily, thank you very much. Karen, Britt, thank you. Not sure if this is going through. It did, it came through. We got your name up there. Thank you. Thank you, Iris. Allison, Eduardo, thank y'all very much. Good job, 53%, 8,000. Keep it going, keep it going. We can do it. We can do it. Call your friends that are still at home. Call your spouses that didn't get up this morning. Make them call. Everybody virtually, go outside, knock on your neighbors' doors. If you need envelopes, we've got volunteers walking around, thank you, Ed, walking around with envelopes. So if anybody needs an envelope or instruction, we'll take that as well. We're getting there, 55%. Keep it coming through, we're doing great. Everybody's hitting it at one time, so it's slow, it's slow. Keep it coming, keep it coming. If you, oh my gosh, look at that. It was a huge jump suddenly. I need to update the time. Oh, look at that, 9. Thank you so much. Greta, thank you. Michael. By the way, if you didn't bring your phone in, which you might not have done so, you can text to give all month. The text to give will be open for you all month, so you can continue to give. 9/4/56, we are going to dance and party out of here when we hit 10. So come on, folks, you can do it. We're almost there. Thank you, Catherine, Leslie, awesome. James, thank you. Keep it coming. 9,004, oh, it's updating again. 531, woo, almost there. Nine 531. It's gonna hit. There it is, 10. We did it. Hit the music, DJ. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you all so much for a wonderful breakfast. Drive safely. Party.